Christmas.
Yes. We just have a couple more seconds. Now we're good. Good evening, folks. If you would please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Alderman Becker.
Here.
Alderman Schuman.
Here.
Alderman Rucker.
Here.
Alderman Ross.
Here.
Alderman Morose. Here. Alderman Osteen.
Here.
Mayor Harmonson.
Here. All right, welcome tonight, folks. Before I start citizens communication, I just want to say welcome Channel 32, KRMS Radio. We're on TV tonight. So in addition to our on live with the Facebook, we're also on KRMS 32. So make sure you're not doing anything inappropriate because we're on TV.
Makeup?
There, I asked Ed if he had his makeup before he got out here. So. All right, moving into citizens communications. This is a time set aside on the agenda for citizens and visitors to address the mayor and board on any topic that is not a public hearing. For those here in person, speakers will be restricted to 3 minutes unless otherwise permitted. Minutes may not be donated or transferred from one speaker to another. Visitors attending via online will be in listen-only mode. Any questions or comments for the mayor and the board will be sent to the city clerk at tberreth@osagebeach.org no later than 10 a.m. on the board meeting day, the first and third meeting of each month. Submitted questions and comments may be read during the citizens communications section of the agenda. The Board of Aldermen will not take any action on any items not listed on the agenda, nor will it respond to questions. Although staff may be directed to respond at a later time. The mayor and the Board of Aldermen welcome and value input and feedback from the public. Is there anyone here in person who would like to address the board? All right, seeing none. Has the board had a chance to look at the minutes and the bills? Any comments or questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Alderman Morose, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Becker, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, consent agenda is approved. All right, the only item of unfinished business tonight is Bill 22-92. It's an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the issuance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri Tax Increment Financing Revenue Notes, Osage Beach Commons Redevelopment Area, Series A, B, C, to provide funds to certain redevelopment project costs. The approval contains documents and actions in connection with the issuance of notes. This is the second reading. City Attorney Ed Rucker, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I've received no comments from any member of the board or from the mayor or any other part of the administration staff since Mr. Spikerman was here at our last meeting and explained how this mechanism works. We've also received, I have not received any, and I don't believe the clerk's received any comments, public comments. To sum up, well, these are our revenue notes. They are not going to the general bond market, okay? The lender still contains the risk. This does help the developer further the development of those Osage Beach Commons. Otherwise, it's fairly technical and complex. Mr. Spikerman was here last week. He, in fact, called me 2 days ago and said, do I need to come down again? And I said, no one's commented. I don't believe anybody's got any other questions. So this is a second reading. There are no changes, and it's ready for the board's final adoption.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
Motion to
Alderman Rucker, do I have a second? Alderman Becker. Roll call, please.
Alderman Morose.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Becker.
Yes.
Alderman Schuman.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. All right, under new business, first we have the public hearing for fiscal year 2023 operating budget draft number 2. As we move forward, the very first bill is the reading, first and second of the draft. So we're going to kind of lump them all three together. Is there anybody here from the public that would like to speak relative to the budget? Seeing none, I'm going to move right into the Bill 22-94, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2023, and ending December 31st, I believe that's supposed to be 23,
Yes, it is supposed to be.
2023.
Yeah.
And appropriating funds pursuant thereto. This is the first reading. Do I have any comments or questions from the, I'm sorry, let's go to City Attorney, City Administrator Gina Woods, please.
Yes, Mayor, members of the board. So the summary is enclosed for the fiscal year 23 draft 2 with all the updated changes from our workshop, plus a few things that had come up in between draft 1 and 2. The full document is available online. I believe I had emailed that out to the management team as well as the board, along with my updated cash flow statement. Just to give a quick summary, the ordinance in front of you is for expenditures totaling all funds $39,107,770. It does conclude a detailed list of the capital expenditures that are also being requested, along with the personnel and the O&M. Capital expenditures for fiscal year 23 is just a little over 12.9 million. 11% of that, which is roughly 1.4 million, does represent some carryover, but those items are detailed in your capital list as well. So those that we know of as carrying over. For the fiscal year 23 budget, 50% of the revenue is sourced from sales tax. As we know, we are heavy on sales tax. Funding our services. 32% is fees and services, with the remainder of that being grants, reimbursements, and other income. The largest uses of our revenue currently for 2023, which is trending the same as past years, water, sewer, utilities, and transportation infrastructure and services, which do include both the airports, are 65% of the uses of our revenue. The final budget document, upon approval, will be put together with the necessary charts and supplement information and cover and my administrative letter. That will be completed sometime in January. But the draft 2 that supports this request has been sent to you with a summary enclosed with the ordinance or the bill.
All right, thank you very much. Comments and questions from the board? Alderman Osteen.
Gina, in our budget planning sessions, we were still at not an impasse, but we still have not discussed pay and merit increases for city employees. There were 2 options. I'm just curious on which one you basically included in this budget summary.
We followed a discussion item, which I believe might have been when you were out of town at the board level. And what the board directed me to do was what ended up being option, I'm not even known the number of option now, but it was 5.25% as a premium weighted by quartile, and that's in addition to employees' merit increases. And that equaled out as an average of 8% or just shy 7.9 or 8.1% for across the board. Some employees may get more, some less, depending on their quartile and what their rating received. Compared to last year, when the board gave a 7% premium, the average employee increase was 10.2%.
Okay, and merit increases average at 3%, correct?
They range from 3 to 5%, actually.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading? Alderman Rucker, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Ross, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Same bill, second reading, Bill 22-94, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, adopting an annual budget for the fiscal year, January 1, 2023, and ending December 31st, 2023, and appropriating funds pursuant thereto, second reading. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading? Alderman Becker, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Morose, roll call, please.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Schuman?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Becker?
Yes.
Alderman Ross?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. Next, Bill 22-95, this is also the first and second reading. An ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the School of Osage District and the City of Osage Beach City for the services of school resource officers. The first reading. City Administrator Gina Woods, please.
Actually, that'll be police chief.
All right. Police
mine.
chief. Chief Davis.
Mayor and members of the board, this is a request to continue our SRO services with School de Osage. We provided the School de Osage with the SRO since 2019. The district currently pays 75% of the officer's salary and benefits. Our current agreement, it's at the end of the agreement, and we're renewing the new agreement with the new annual cost fees based on the new salaries. The School de Osage is in agreement with our proposed agreement here, and we believe it's a valuable partnership, both of us, and recommend approval.
All right, thank you very much. Board comments or questions? Alderman Osteen.
I just have one question. I think this one's for Gina.
Okay.
Is there a reason we don't basically enter into this agreement on a calendar year with the school district as opposed to the fiscal year?
Well, we do follow more of their school year with their budget because of the way, they don't budget on a calendar year like we do. So it's just as easy for us to do it in between budgets. We are a little late this year, as the chief said, but that way they can put it into their budget and they know going into a school district, should something happen and we were on more of our fiscal year and something would happen and no funds, then that would affect the middle of a school year.
I'm just curious if moving forward, it wouldn't be smarter for us to basically do this through the school calendar year, or is that not
Well,
feasible?
this one matches their calendar year from from summer to summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So
Alderman
basically, the only difference is the fact that we went from one SRO to two, and we've increased the amount of the funding in the agreement.
Correct.
Okay, because I didn't read it in detail, but that's all I need to know. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Do I have a motion to approve first reading? Alderman Rucker, do I have a second? Alderman Osteen, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We're under second reading. Bill 22-95, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement between the School of Osage District and the City of Osage Beach City for the services of a revenue school resource officer. This is the second reading. Any other further questions? Alderman Ross.
I just thought I want to apologize. So is this going to affect staff? How does this affect our staffing? Okay, we have yet to become fully staffed as a police department in this time, almost 6 years I've been here. And I'm not against this by any means, but I want to make sure that this doesn't inhibit our ability to get fully staffed someday.
Our 23 budget and anticipating this contract request from the school to have a second SRO, our 23 budget added a second SRO as approved by the board, or added that position. We currently have an SRO that's out there. The chief can either confirm or deny my next comment, but the school, they will have to work out if they contract with one and if we have staff that can cover it. If not, the other option is they don't get an SRO until we get one hired, because they are part of that interview process as well.
Correct.
So will we be employing a second, I guess, let me ask the question this way. Will we be employing a second SRO officer before we become fully staffed?
We will submit or solicit applications the same, that's a specific job description, and we'll do them the same time. I guess we're going to submit or solicit applications for officers, dispatchers, SRO, all the same time.
I understand solicited. I guess hope you understand what I'm saying, and that is I don't believe we should we should place, funding's one thing, placing's a second thing. We should place a second SRO officer at the school if we aren't fully staffed.
Correct, and they won't be billed for one until we get that position out.
So we're fully staffed, and then we can add two.
That is the plan.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
So moved.
Alderman Roche, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Ross, roll call, please.
Alderman Schuman.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Becker.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Morose.
Yes. I thought I said yes already. It's okay.
Second reading passes.
Who didn't I get?
Who didn't vote?
We're good.
You just called second.
It's seven. It's unanimous.
Hey, all right. At least I got everybody. Okay, good. Thanks.
All right, moving on. Bill 22-96, this is also first and second reading. An ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing a not-to-exceed amount of $600,000 for fiscal year 2023 under the existing contract with LOR Engineering, LLC, doing business as Cochran Engineering, professional services agreement. Let's go. Mike or Gina going to take this one?
I'll let Mike.
Mike Welty, Assistant City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. As the mayor stated, this is just a request for a not-to-exceed amount for the 2023 year to provide the same services that Cochran is providing now under the current master contract with LOR Engineering. These services could fall under any number of different funds, but the contract controls all of them, no matter what fund they fall under. One other note I will make is that there could also be a situation where we enter into a specific agreement with Cochran to handle a specific project, and that's not technically covered under this agreement. I do recommend approval. Open to any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mike. Comments or questions? Alderman Becker.
Mike, are we still analyzing whether this is more advantageous for us to hire these services in-house as opposed to out-of-house?
Absolutely. I do apologize. I've been under the weather and out of the office for a few days, but I know that Gina is working on that, and I know that she's going to be working with me on that. I know she has at least some of the data. I don't know if she has all of the data, but we do fully intend to come back to the board and review that data with you once we have it all put together.
Do you have a time frame on that?
Gina?
It'll be after the holidays for sure. I know I got a lot of data from Cochran in the last couple weeks. It's really just Mike and I getting together, but I know it will not happen before New Year's.
Okay.
That's one of the January meetings. Let me just commit to that, one of the January meetings.
That's all. Thank you.
Alderman Rucker.
This is only a funding agreement anyway. It's not a contractual.
This is a not to exceed on the contractual you've already done, correct?
Right.
Yep.
This is just the funding. So if we choose to change something with that, this has no bearing on that because it's the contractual that we would be changing.
Correct.
Any questions over here? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading?
Motion approved.
Alderman Ross, do I have a second? Alderman Osteen. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, first reading passes. Second reading, Bill 22-96, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing a not-to-exceed amount of $600,000 for fiscal year 2023 under the existing contract with LOR Engineering, LLC, doing business as Cochran Engineering, professional services agreement. This is a second reading. Any further comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
So moved.
Alderman Morose, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Schuman, roll call, please.
Alderman Rucker.
Yes.
Alderman Becker.
Yes.
Alderman Osteen.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderman Schuman. Yes. Alderman Morose.
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. On to Bill 22-97, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending ordinance number 21.78, adopting the 2023 annual operating budget transfer of funds for necessary expenses for engineering services and sewer repair of system. This is the first reading. City Administrator Gina Woods, please.
Yes, Mayor, members of the board. These are two final items that were significant dollars based on previous approved items that I need to amend the budget for. Again, both of them, I don't think I included the details on when those things were approved. But professional services in 1018 engineering, we're asking for amendment, and that's tied directly to the master contract with Cochran. Again, these precede or follow past approvals at different board meetings. And then repair of system, that was an increase of $181,700 to repair of system. Again, that was several items that Kevin had brought forward in the last couple months that we'd been telling you I would be bringing a budget adjustment. There are a few items still in the fiscal year 2022 budget that possibly, to be honest with you, possibly needed some official budget amendments. And as I go through those, then I will bring those to you the first meeting in January, just as a technical item, before we close our year accounting purposely wise. So I recommend approval.
All right, thank you very much. Comments or questions from the board? Alderman Rucker.
Okay. The blue sheet says 23 budget, the ordinance says 22 budget. Do we have a mistake in the blue sheet?
Yes, that's mine. Tara's bill is correct.
Okay, just want to make sure we're on the right page.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else?
Summary sheets mixed up.
Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading? So moved. Alderman Becker, do I have a second? Alderman Rucker. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, first reading carries. Second reading, Bill 22-97, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, amending ordinance number 21.78, adopting the 2023 annual operating budget, transfer of funds for necessary expenses for engineer service and sewer repair of system. This is the second reading. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading?
So moved.
Alderman Morose, do I have a second? Alderman Ross. Roll call, please.
Alderman Schuman?
Yes.
Alderman Ross?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Becker?
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. Next, we have Bill 22-98, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign supplemental agreement number 2 with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley to pay for engineering costs associated with the LCF airport fuel remediation cost in the amount not to exceed $13,436.42. This is also the first and second reading. Mr. Welty.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. Attached, you'll see the agreement from CMT that covers these costs. I'm not going to get into detail, as I know you guys all know the details here, but this is the costs associated with the actual testing of the soil, the costs of having those engineers analyze and turn in those tests to DNR. I do apologize for this taking so long to get to you. The DNR process, when you go through this, is lengthy, and it is for a reason, just so they can make sure that they've crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's. So it has taken us this long to go through all those approvals and get everything all wrapped up so that we can take care of this last final piece. The one thing I want to make sure that the board still understands is we still know that you all feel the same way we do, in that the state should be the one paying for these charges. I am still diligently working with the state to work through those issues, and I hope to have a resolution presented to the board in the very near future. Despite these issues, the good news is that over the course of the back half of this year, we have been able to find some savings on the project. And because we've been able to find some savings on the project, there's no budget amendment needed for this project, as we will be under budget when this project ends. Speaking of that, the project is nearly complete. We are waiting on just a couple of items. There is a new sign that has to be put in place that is back ordered. And then there, just like we do with every airport project, there is grass that we have to prove is growing before we can make their final payment. So just a few last minute things to finish up on that project, and we'll be done. I do recommend approval, and I'm willing to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Welty. Comments or questions from the board? Alderman Osteen.
I have one question, and perhaps I'm confused by the blue sheet. This was a budgeted item, and we're requesting $13,436, but we only need Alderman approval for purchases over $25,001. So I'm confused on why this is being brought to us.
Good question, because it's part of a total not to exceed. So yes, I have authority up to 25, but that's an aggregate per contract. So because this contract, for easy math, say it's $5 million contract, even if Mike is asking for additional approvals in 10,000 increment, it affects the 5 million total aggregately.
Okay.
I was going to put that in my comments because I thought somebody may ask that.
Very
I'm
good.
not someone.
Well, I mean, in addition to this has been a very unique situation, and I just feel like it's important that we make sure that we keep the board informed on what's going on with it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the board? Alderman Ross.
So Mike, first of all, is this amount for services already rendered, or is there future services that, one, will be needed, and two, are they part of this?
This is mostly paid. There is, I think, one outstanding piece that'll be covered in one of the final payments we make for this contract.
So is there going to be ongoing testing services required in the future?
The state has verbally told me that if additional testing is necessary, they will be the ones to do it.
Okay. And then the last question is a construction contractor, $46,000. Are they getting paid, or are they in limbo until we decide who owes it?
They have gotten paid.
Good. That's all I have. Thanks.
All right.
All right. Alderman Rucker.
Is this the same state people that are saying they will take care of ongoing that have not paid the bill in the first place?
Yes, sir.
I will just tell you, I am not opposed to this budget adjustment. I have it on my, actually an email that I communicated with the administration within the last week. I'm prepared to put a motion together to sue the state. This is ridiculous. There's no reason for this. This is truly, from everything we show, and they have not been able to show us why it's not their responsibility. This has gone too long, and I'm ready to move forward litigation-wise because they're donking around too much with this. So you need to send that message or whatever, but it's not going to be much longer that I'm not going to put a motion on the floor for that.
Alderman Rucker, at one of the board meetings in January, we're going to be discussing this in a little bit more detail. I don't know, I haven't talked to Gina in detail about this yet, so I don't know which one. But just know that there's some answers coming for you, likely at one of the meetings in January, where we're going to be discussing this and the leasing fine property as a whole in a little bit more detail. Duly noted. And, whatever the board wants us to do, we will do, but there's more discussion to come, and I think that information will be very insightful as you make that decision.
I also, just as a follow-up, this is not any way, shape, or form a reprimand or anything against staff. It's not our folks that are as far as I'm concerned, that are dropping the ball or not carrying things the way it should be. It's the state. So I just want that to be clear. I'm not upset at staff. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading?
Motion approved.
Alderman Ross, do I have a second? Alderman Shubin. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, first reading carries. Second reading, Bill 22-98, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign supplemental agreement number 2 with Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley to pay the engineering costs associated with the Lacey Fine Airport fuel remediation costs in an amount not to exceed $13,436.42. Any other further questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading? Alderman Becker, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Morose, roll call, please.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Ross?
Yes.
Alderman Becker?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Schuman?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. Next, we have Bill 22-99, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, imposing a sales tax rate of 3% on all retail sales of adult-use marijuana sold within the City of Osage Beach. This is the first reading, and I'll go ahead and take this one. I'd asked this to be on the agenda pursuant to our last Alderman's meeting. This is, when you read it, it kind of looks like the city is imposing or wanting to impose a tax. The city does not have the ability to do that. We are simply saying that we are, if you vote this in, we are putting this on the ballot in next April. We have to notify Camden County by January 24th of our intent to have this on the ballot, to have it on the ballot. And the reason I wanted to put it on here is because when they wrote Amendment 3, they specifically, the writers, put in there, letting cities have the opportunity to increase sales tax above and beyond the 6% that they're going to charge. They put that in there in order to sell Amendment 3. The citizens of Missouri voted positively. So I would like to utilize what the writers themselves gave the citizens the possibility to do. And I think as a board, it would be wrong not to let the citizens of Osage Beach vote on this. Whether you agree with the sales tax or not, I don't think is what you need to decide today. I think what needs to be decided is, as a board, do you think the citizens of Osage Beach should have the opportunity to vote on what they put in Amendment 3? And with that being said, I know some comments last time, I did a little research over the weekend, they were talking about, other than this, when else can we have above and beyond taxes on anything else? And I started to do a lot of research about alcohol. What I found, beer, spirits, wine, anywhere between 18 and 23% extra in taxes. Here you're talking about an extra 3%, and we specifically allocated the police, the ambulance services, and parks. So Alderman Rucker, if we were to ever get rid of the ambulance services, we still have the police and parks, which will be around forever. Again, my personal opinion is, with any recreational drug, whether it be alcohol, marijuana, whatever, the risk of increased police necessities is increased. So I like the fact we put that in that budget. And again, I want the board to vote to let the citizens of Osage Beach be allowed to vote on this. Alderman Rucker, do you have anything else to say? I'm sorry. City Attorney Rucker?
No, I would reiterate, I guess, two things. One, all this does is allows the voters of the city of Osage Beach to authorize and create a tax, okay? Consistent with the Hancock Amendment that's been part of the Missouri Constitution for 30-plus years, this body does not have the authority to raise taxes and isn't raising taxes. But the constitutional amendment as adopted provided for this 3% sales tax and provided for a public election for each individual community to decide whether to impose it or not. I also got a question this morning from Alderman Mayrose, who pointed out and asked specifically, does this apply to medical marijuana? The answer is it does not, okay? This is adult use marijuana, and that's the language that it specifically says on page 162 of your packet. Shall the city of Osage Beach impose a sales tax of 3% on all retail sales of adult use marijuana? It will not affect that marijuana used for medicinal purposes under the original medical marijuana amendment that passed a couple of years ago. Aside from that, and the mayor is correct that alcohol, the pejorative is sin taxes. The state government does tax different items at different rates, okay? And alcohol is something taxed heavily. This would be a tax if you take the 4% basic state sales tax plus our 2% sales tax. Okay, that gets to 6. You add this 3 on it. Off the top of my head is it gets to about 9, which is still half the tax that you pay when you buy alcohol.
All right, thank you. Alderman Rucker.
At our one meeting when this was discussed, it was brought up that there was some concern of us taxing just a specific product, a specific thing, i.e. the recreational marijuana. Well, first of all, we don't make the decision on what we can and can't tax, or what we are allowed to take to the voters that can and cannot be taxed. That's decided by the state legislators. So that's the first thing. So we are not making the decision to go after marijuana, so to speak. That choice has been made by the state government and has been handed down to us to, if we want to put that out there. It also, at some point in time, the decision was made to allow us to make that choice on the sales tax on cars. And we made that choice to put that to the voters and passed years ago, Gina.
2013, maybe?
Yeah, anyway, quite some time ago. And we also have been given the opportunity by our state legislators to make the choice to tax internet sales as what is called use tax. So this is not something that is unique. This is not something that is targeting a specific market or specific product. It's an opportunity that we have, that the state legislators have allowed us to make that choice to put on the ballot. And as it was stated, it's not us making the tax happen, it's allowing the voters to make it happen if they choose to make it happen. So I think that there's a couple of things that I wanted to clear up, and I think that the mayor brings up a good point that you know, it was in the piece of legislation, or the thing that was whatever it was, the proposal, excuse me, that was voted on, and it was included in that be a part of it. So I support this. I think it's the right thing to do, and I think we owe it to our citizens to allow them to make the choice, and I think we have an opportunity to give them the necessary information that they need in order to make the choice. We have programs. I've visited with the city administrator, provided a number of programs and incentive things that we could use that we as the board can further in greater detail than what we have at this point. So at that, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Alderman Osteen.
Alderman Brucker, I'm going to agree and disagree with you on a few things.
That's not surprising.
Although we as an entity for the city or as the board, we do not arbitrarily decide to tax a specific product, but we are certainly the conduit to make that happen. Because if we as a board decided not to move forward with putting this on the next ballot, basically there would be no further discussion about it. But since we as a board are going to decide to put this on the ballot, then we basically are opening the doors to add that tax, correct? So once again, we can say that we are not specifically taxing it because it just goes to the citizens' vote. But once again, we're the conduit to make that tax happen. And I think my opinions on all this have already been stated in the previous meeting. I just am thankful that we as a board aren't the ones deciding this and it goes to the citizens. So they'll ultimately have the say on if we move forward with this or not. So once again, I agreed and disagreed with you a little bit on that one.
All right, thank you. Alderman Rose.
I'm definitely in favor of this. I think I vocalized that the last meeting, but I think it's extremely important. I know we discussed it too, of educating the public. We definitely need to earmark where this money's going to go, if it is approved by the citizens, of course. And the earmark, I think, should be in favor of what the majority we feel that our citizens would like, whether it be, you mentioned ambulance or extra money for the police department, whatever. I'm thinking of even individual things as far as improvements of our city park. You know, just some way that we can disperse some of that money, but to just have it totally earmarked where people understand, hey, we're not using just this money for the sake of our general revenue or whatever. We're using it to try to please our citizens. And I think that's important. But we need to educate it, whatever we're going to do, and we need to discuss how we're going to do it, you know, which avenue we're going to go.
Yeah, and then three things we've earmarked are specifically stated as police, ambulance services, and parks.
It was definitely,
Yes.
Okay.
That's right in the ordinance.
Yes.
okay.
Yep.
But I think maybe what Phyllis is saying, that's just, to me, seems somewhat general, is we're going to earmark it for these specific departments with not necessarily focusing on it is to expand our park system. It is to build trailways, you know what I'm saying? Maybe some more specifics other than it's going to a slush fund for these three departments. We'll do with it as we wish.
Yeah, and this would be better for Gina to answer, but I believe what it is, having those three earmarked, then it would be up to the board. Let's say they're excess of $20,000, and somebody say, I would like to expand the parks because of the excess money, and then there's the board decision of where to spend that money. Am I correct, Gina?
Yeah, yes and no, but one option to just expand instead of, right now it says police, ambulance, and park service. This is just draft or first reading, so before the second reading, you could make it more specific. Capital expansion for the parks system, or capital, equipment and capital only for police and ambulance, or not operating. You could still drill down and be more specific for those departments. I would shy away from a specific project if you're not going to sunset this tax, because then once X is done, then you're like, okay, got to give it back or whatever. So you don't want it too general, but I think I go back to the capital improvement tax ballot that the people voted in back in the 80s, 86 or about whatever was before me. The way they wrote that is the CIT tax collected at that time would first and foremost go to take care of debt, bonded or debt for water and sewer infrastructure. Next layer was, okay, expansion of our water and sewer infrastructure, and then could be used for operation and maintenance of said water and sewer. So the last example or the last item in that paragraph was probably open-ended, but they started like a hierarchy. First and foremost, this taxes take care of debt for the system, because at the time, city had went into a lot of bonds to build out our water and sewer. So I take that as an example. You could do that here. Maybe you do get specific, and then all else, when those boxes are checked, it can go to maintain the operation and maintenance of the park system or operation and maintenance of our emergency services.
So, Alderman Ross, did you have something? Did you have your hand up earlier?
This side, sure.
Okay, I thought you had your hand up earlier.
Yeah, just letting everybody have their, so I'll just say this, I think that, again, we should not collect taxes from people unless we can demonstrate a need or we have a need for the money. And I've been here now 5, almost 6 years, and compared to where we were 6 years ago, we're in great financial position. Our budget, I demonstrated that in many ways, but for example, we're doing backlog projects. So I don't see the need to collect the money. From an accountability or a earmarking standpoint, I think it is too general. And I think that that any time that we're going to collect someone's money, we should tell them what we're going to do with it. And I think just across, just from my standards. However, I will say that I've sat here many times and wished I had more feedback from the public about what they thought on things. In this particular case, because of the timing, we can get that feedback for free because there's no cost, right, by adding this to the ballot. So with that said, I will support putting it on the ballot, but I want to be very clear that if anyone asks me if I support it, I do not support this as a measure on the ballot, and I will vote against it, okay? But that's where I'm at. Thank you.
Fair enough. Alderman Rucker.
I just want to bring forth the fact that throughout my career, I've been involved in a lot of issues, proposals, et cetera. And you have to be careful on ballot language. Fortunately, I had probably at least 5 different attorneys that I've dealt with over the course of my career that have assisted in ballot language. And that's the biggest thing they will all tell you, be careful. Too broad, it's not going to be good because the voters are going to say, what do you mean? It's very broad. Other than there's certain taxes that are meant to be broad, which is general revenue. That is what's that for. If you feel like we need to be narrowed, I can live with that. We have to be very careful because what we are putting on the ballot and what the voters would, as far as I'm concerned, would approve, because I'm in favor of it and I will be voting yes, is the fact that they will be putting this proposal and be approved from now on. So we want to have something that in 10 years, 15, 20 years, the board is not sitting there with their hands tied, or we also don't want to be sitting there to where the board can be doing something that we, the board, didn't intend for the voters to approve. So therefore, not too broad, but therefore not too narrow. If we pick that we want to support the Magic Dragon Trail, what happens when the Magic Dragon Trail don't need to support? Or the Magic Dragon Trail has been here and has now gone away. Truly, like I brought up the question or the issue about the ambulance. What happens if we go out of the ambulance business? Then what happens? So we've got to be cautious with that. And I went back and did some research on the ballot language as Gina had mentioned on the CIT tax. And that's very good language. And that's why I think that what she was following as far as that kind of ballot language, it's good. Can we demonstrate it? Yes. I've been here a lot of times, and there's a lot of area of funding that we do not have that we could use it for. So I believe there are projects out there that the voters should have the right to see if they want to fund. If they don't want to fund those projects, okay, but it's their choice. And I think that we should give them that opportunity.
That's right.
Any other comments or questions?
I have a question.
Alderman Schuman.
And it's mainly just, I couldn't find this anywhere when I was looking, so I don't know if anybody else has come across it. So this is talking about the 3% tax on recreational marijuana. Does that also cover any of the other items you would buy for that? Like
Paraphernalia?
the paraphernalia and stuff, is that included in that, or is this just the marijuana itself?
Good question.
Just because I couldn't find it in there anywhere, but I don't.
Yeah,
know if I'm looking in the right spot.
there are some wording that alludes to that, but city attorney's right, but I was trying to find real fast where it was, but yes, it's the product itself, not the accessories.
Okay.
And the only reason it makes
I
sense,
don't know
Because I couldn't find.
because it makes sense to me to only be the marijuana, because I'm assuming you use the same tool, whether you use it for medical or for recreational.
Right.
So that'd be my thoughts on it.
It's
but-
not
Curious
accessories.
with that. And then my other thing was just, I don't know if there's a way to kind of, how do I say this? Show a little bit more of like what percentage would go to, if we're throwing 3 entities onto here, or 3 sections onto here, police, ambulance, and parks, like one of my questions would be, well, but how much goes to each of those? Or do you not want to lock it in that much in case, you know, one area needs more one year versus the other?
Well, and
But I
that's-
know
yeah.
citizens could kind of
And that's why we
question,
picked
like,
those
is it
3,
really,
yeah.
is it really gonna go towards here, or are they only gonna put a little bit here and a lot there? You know, just a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more defined, like we were saying before.
Well, I think the reason we picked those 3 is because like Alderman
Which I
Rucker
agree
said,
with those
if we ever
3.
get rid of ambulance, then we already designated,
Right.
1% each, then, and so
Hmm.
the police always need funds. The ambulance is, I mean, we need the money because we lose money on it every year.
Mm-hmm.
If that goes away, and we need more police officers, we need to recruit more, so, and of course our parks, so as it's worded is, I think, kind of hits right in the middle. It's precise enough, but leaves it vague enough where the board can decide how to use them as needed. Alderman Rucker?
Let's don't forget that there should be, and I believe there should be some decision that future boards can make, because there are some things, some needs out there that we don't know what some of those needs are. There's some needs that are going to happen in 10 years from now that we don't even know about, and that's what that board's for. And if that board in the future is making decisions that is not pleasing to the citizens, guess what? The citizens can vote those people out and get somebody in there that will make the decision. I mean, it's the voters that are going to have the control over it, and they give us, the aldermen, the authority to make those decisions on a not a day-to-day basis, because that's staff, but on a year-to-year basis or an annual basis or meeting-to-meeting basis. So it's ultimately those citizens, if they don't care for what the decisions are that's being made, that's their opportunity to voice it, and if we don't listen, vote us out. Our future boards out.
Alderman Becker?
I do think that the citizens should have a voice in this. And I agree with Alderman Rucker. I like it not being so specific, because if you do make it too detailed, say it's for let's pick the Veterans Memorial. Well, once that's done and paid for, do we continue to collect the tax or not, or what do we do with it if we are collecting it? So I think I like the more generality version.
All right. Any other comments? Alderman Osteen, very popular guy tonight, yeah.
I still think the verbiage is too vague, and I understand you're saying we don't want to dial it down to basically we're shooting ourselves in the foot with these dollars, but we need to, what Gina mentioned earlier, saying, okay, first and foremost is going for the continued operations and maintenance of the departments as is. Secondly would be to expand, or to, you know what I'm saying? We should dial down operations and maintenance always first and foremost, but then also do a tier, like she said previously, on previous ballot measures of saying, okay, or the funds will go to here or here, because I think the citizens are going to want to know, where is this money going? Other than, like I said, right now it just reads too general. It's just going, like I said, it sounds like it's going to one giant slush fund, and we'll do it as we please. So if we dial it down a little bit more on the ballot language, verbiage, I think that would make sense and appease all parties as far as trying to dial it down a little bit more, but not really get it too narrow. But once again, it's too general as it stands.
Find that happy medium. That's Gina will find a happy medium for us.
All right. Well, can we dial it down a little bit and at least bring a motion on the floor to approve first reading, and then we'll dial it down for the second reading?
So moved.
Alderman Becker, do we have a second?
Second.
Alderman Morose, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you very much. All right, moving on. Bill 22-100, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign certain quitclaim deeds attached hereto in connection with ordinance 22-81, passed by the Board of Aldermen on October 20th, 2022, approving the plat of, is it Bybee? Bybee Springs subdivision. This too is a first and second reading. Is this you, Mr. Rucker?
Yes. Don't worry, Terry, I'll talk really fast this time. All right. In October, you all approved a new plat for the Bybee Springs subdivision. Council for the subdivision subsequently requested these quitclaim deeds not at his instigation, but basically he says that his title company is requesting them. And this is me being a legal pain in the neck, but the plat did not say we're going to execute deeds. So the question is, can the mayor execute a deed? Well, we're going to have the most restrictive conservative reading available in terms of the mayor's power here. The mayor will execute on behalf of the city those documents that the Board of Aldermen authorizes. Therefore, I told council that the Board of Aldermen has to authorize the execution of these deeds. If the deeds do the same thing the plat does, okay, it makes the title company happy, I'm fine with it. It does not change your legal status versus this one way or another. But the general principle here is we're not going to have the mayor and the city attorney and the planner signing off on documents in your name, okay, because y'all did something 3 months ago and we were asked to do something else. Essentially, this is legal housekeeping, okay, but it is an important constitutional point, the way city government works, that if the mayor is going to execute a document that binds the city, the Board of Aldermen votes on the document and approves it. The same way you all approved earlier the bonding instruments concerning Osage Beach Common. There'll be signature packages out next week that the mayor will sign. But on those signature packages, I guarantee you, council's going to want copies of the ordinance that you all voted for tonight that approves doing those signatures. By the same token, I want to do this ordinance tonight to give the mayor the authority to sign these 3 quitclaim deeds. All a quitclaim deed does is convey to the grantee, the person receiving it, whatever right, title, and interest the city might have at this point, okay? It doesn't guarantee that we defend a title. It doesn't guarantee that we have anything. It doesn't even allege that we own anything. It simply says, whatever we got, you now got, we're happy. That's all Mr. Ellsworth's title company requested, and I don't see any reason why this can't be adopted for both first and second readings.
All right, thank you very much. Comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve first reading? Alderman Rucker, do I have a second?
Second.
Alderman Ross, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, first reading carries. Second reading, Bill 22-100, an ordinance of the City of Osage Beach, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to sign a certain quitclaim deeds attached hereto in connection with ordinance 22-81, passed by the Board of Aldermen on October 20th, 2022, approving the plat of Bybee Springs subdivision. Bybee. Wow, that is so tough to say. Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve second reading? Alderman Schuman, do I have a second? Alderman Becker, roll call, please.
Alderman Ross?
Yes.
Alderman Osteen?
Yes.
Alderman Becker?
Yes.
Alderman Rucker?
Yes.
Alderman Schuman?
Yes.
Alderman Morose?
Yes.
All right, second reading passes. 2 more items. This is a motion to approve bad debt write-off for leasee fined in Grand Lake Airport funds in the amount of $0, water and sewage funds in the amount of $1,155, and the ambulance funds in the amount of $203,487. City Treasurer Carrie Bell, please.
Mayor and Board of Aldermen, this is part of our annual process, full disclosure process, to let you know everything that's been run through the city's books, sent to collections, written off for various reasons, primarily sent to collections. I did skip, normally there's nothing at the park this year either. Good news, nothing at the airports, and that amount for the water and sewer based on their volume is basically 0 as well. Good news, our revenues in ambulance are up, but also our collections, sent to collections are up as well. If you have any questions for me, otherwise I recommend approval of this process.
Comments or questions from the board? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Alderman Morose, do I have a second? Alderman Rucker, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Last item of business, a motion to modify the Thursday, January 5th, 2023 regular board meeting. City Administrator Gina Woods, please.
Yes, Mayor, members of the board. As I stated in the item, and as you've seen with a couple emails begging and pleading for RSVPs for a couple of events, this one does this year conflict with our first meeting in January. It's up to the board whether at minimum, you have to have one board meeting per ordinance. So I'm requesting if you want to attend the reception, which I have got a couple RSVPs from a couple of you already, I would recommend moving the first meeting in January, not necessarily skipping it. We could do all our city business in one meeting, but it makes that one kind of lengthy. So I don't necessarily recommend that, but it's definitely up to the board. Or either move this meeting to the next week, that does put 2 meetings in a row, or move it back one day and do your meeting on a Wednesday night. It is immediately after the holidays, but it's really at your discretion if you want to move it, and if you do want to move it, what day do you want to have it on? So,
Alderman Rucker.
I would support moving it and would make a motion for the 4th, that Wednesday. That still puts our meetings,
Still 2 weeks ahead.
not exactly 2 weeks apart, but 15 days rather than 14, but if that
Check your
would,
social calendar.
and I think I shot an email out for everybody, hopefully they could kind of look at their calendars to see if there was a problem with everybody's calendar, but I would like to see us move our meeting from February 5th to February the 4th, same time.
Was that a motion? Did you make a motion, Alderman?
I will, yes.
Do I have a second? Alderman Morose, comments, questions?
I just have one comment.
Yes, sir.
I prefer if we moved all the meetings to some other time than Thursday, and we talked about that before, but this will be one of anywhere from 2 to 4 times that we'll have to have conflicts throughout the year. And so I appreciate the fact that we move it to Wednesday. I think that keeps things more consistent.
Yeah.
And so we'll have at least one time when we don't have a Thursday meeting. That'll be great.
All right,
I'll keep the Wednesdays in mind the next time this rolls around.
all right, we have first and a second, and any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Will be the 5th for all of you in TV and on radio out there. 4th, excuse me, the 4th. Not the 5th, the 4th. January 4th, 6 p.m. All right, that concludes this business. We're going to move on to staff communications, and we'll start with the city administrator, Gina Woods.
Well, including this reception, I did get an email out to all of you. The legislative conference at the Capitol in February is also open. So if you haven't responded to me and you want to attend, let me know. I have probably heard from most of you, but keep that in mind. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. This is the last meeting of the year, and we'll see everybody next year. I will say the next couple weeks coming up, other than holidays, we do probably have several people going to be out. This is the popular time for extra vacation and personal time to be taken, so.
All right, Assistant City Administrator Mike Welty.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. I echo what Gina said. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It has been a very busy and trying year, but I am very happy working for the city. I consider it to be one of my dream jobs, frankly, and I really enjoy it. I look forward to the challenges that 2023 will bring, and hope everybody has a great holiday.
All right, thank you very much. All right, City Clerk, Tara
Just wanted
Barrett.
to remind everybody that you can pick up your election packets. December 27th, 5 p.m. is the cutoff date. Merry Christmas.
All right.
Did you? Well, it was in my, yeah,
All right.
I got a grid chart.
All right, City Treasurer Carrie Bell.
Mayor, Board of Aldermen, for my department, this time of year is the busiest time of year, trying to get everything done before year end, but it's going very well, and thank you for for all your support. Merry Christmas, everybody. Enjoy the holidays.
All right, thank you very much. City Attorney Ed Rucker.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, Mr. White's not here. Chief Davis.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Tomorrow, we're going up to graduation for Summer Phillips, our newest police officer. And then she'll be sworn in on Monday morning, her first day on the job at 8:30, I believe. So.
Very good. City Planner Kerry Patterson.
Yeah, I'm talking to the mic so Alderman Rucker doesn't yell at me. Just real quick, you guys know I'm not one who typically throws out a bunch of kudos and fluffy stuff in these situations, but you know, what I will tell you is as a person who has been here for quite a while and who has been through a lot of budget processes, I got to tell you, I find it extremely impressive how smoothly our budget process goes these days under, you know, the guidance of this board and obviously Gina and the process that she's put out. I know it's not really something where the guy who takes 5 minutes to do his budget, you know, knows as much as everyone else. I know this, I get it, but, you know, I have been here in times that it doesn't quite go as well. And the way that this group, our financial group, and then our board works together, it's pretty impressive kind of from the 5-minute man looking in. So for all those who work so hard on it, I'm just really proud of the way that we do our budget these days. It's good stuff. And that's all I've got.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. Human Resource Generalist Michael Ray.
I have nothing at this time, Mayor.
All right, thank you. All right, Public Works, Kevin Crooks, IT, Ty Dinsdale, Airport Manager. All right, Eric Gregory, Parks.
Yes, just encourage everybody to come out and enjoy the holiday lights displays. We've been having a little problem with the rain affecting them, but so hope for no rain for a while. It's going on through December 31st, 5 to 9 every night. Bring the family out and enjoy it. We're also, Mike, Mitch, and I are working with Cochran Engineering and Ballard King, and we're hoping to present the new Parks Master Plan in the late January meeting. So that's very exciting, and we're looking forward to that. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year from the Parks Department. So.
All right, thank you very much. Cochran Engineering, Dave Van Leer.
Yeah, thank you. Just a quick thanks to the board and to staff here. Looking forward to another year getting to work with the city. I know we really enjoy working with the city. If there's ever anything we need to be doing different or better, please speak up and let us know. But thanks again, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Economic Development Specialist Mitchell Moon.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Aldermen. On Monday, the mayor and I visited with some state leaders, the Lieutenant Governor Kehoe, and fellow representatives and senators, and just spoke about all good things, Osage Beach and Lake of the Ozarks region in general. And I'm going to mirror what Eric just said about the Office of Economic Development and his Parks Department working together to make this place truly the best place to live, to work, and recreate. So with that, Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. All right, Alderman Rucker.
Yes, first of all, I hope everybody has a safe holiday and enjoys the Christmas and Merry Christmas and spend that time with the family. That's an opportunity that we all should cherish. I would say the lights at the parks were great. I hope that what happened to my son doesn't happen to you guys. My son is a very avid Christmas decorator. It's unbelievable. The rabbits got to him this year, and he's lost about a third of his lights. I don't know why rabbits like to eat the lights things, but I can show you pictures. Anyway, I hope that they don't get down to you. And I was actually going to find out if you do anything to keep the animals away, because he's looking for that. So I hope that doesn't happen to your lights. So again, everybody have a good Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Alderman Schuman.
I just want to say thank you to all the staff for all the hard work this year. I know, Carrie, this is a very busy time. We're kind of in that same crunch too, but everybody's put in a lot of effort this year, and we really, really appreciate it. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. Everybody stay safe, and I hope everybody really enjoys their time with their family during the Christmas break. Over that time, really unplug from work and really just enjoy your time together.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Becker.
Just Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody.
Alderman Osteen.
I just have two things. Obviously, a joyous and safe and prosperous holiday season for all. And for Mr. Welty, you need to set your sights higher. You said this is your dream job. You need to be shooting for the stars, my friend. Mayor, city administrator, set that bar up there. That's all.
All right, thank you, Red. Alderman Rose.
One thing, I received this very, very nice note from a resident in our neighborhood. On behalf of the lucky kids who were able to participate in Shop with the Cop, I would like to thank Santa, Chief Davis, and all of his elves, the Lynn Creek Police, Natisha, am I pronouncing that correct? And others from the Osage Beach Police Department. The smiles on the faces of the kids warm my heart, as well as the parents of the kids. I am sure that this will be a Christmas experience that they will never forget. Jody Hanner, Hope House representative. Thought it was very nice. She dropped this off for me to read it. She said, I'm not one to speak out loud in the public. She used to teach school, but I don't know. Anyway, everybody, happy holidays, stay safe, obviously. And I echo what Alderman Schuman has said about our staff, that we're very blessed for the hardworking crew. Thank you again.
All right, thank you. Alderman Rush.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say thank you to everyone from the city for the beautiful arrangement for my mom's services last week, and all the thoughts and comments and reach outs from everyone here and a lot of other people. It means a lot, and thank you. And with that, I'm kind of back and forth here, but Merry Christmas. Everyone have a great time. Spend a lot of time with your family and hug them a lot. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. A few things I have. First of all, Mike Welty doesn't want the mayor job because he doesn't want the pay cut. But no, a few things I just kind of jotted down as we talk, because I don't have a lot. But I did want to thank the city of Lake Ozark. The parade was great. And thank you, Phyllis. You were great in your role there. There's a great write-up about you in the article.
It was very nice.
So that was very nice. And the only suggestion I have out there, not telling them how to run their city, but I felt bad for those kids holding those bags and we couldn't throw them candy. So I would love to see them bring candy back. But anyway, with that being said, and welcome to Karamas Channel 32. Now we're on TV. That's great. I'm a firm believer in people learning what the city's doing. From day one when I got here, full disclosure, transparency. My door is always open, and with that being said, I know that we've had some very spirited conversations with some of the staff, with some of the aldermen, but I truly feel welcomed here. I think we're working well together. We've had some conversations where if we don't agree on one thing, we've done a pretty good job of not holding grudges for the next thing where we can work together. So with that being said, thank you for taking me in, city and staff, and the city of Osage Beach. The city's doing a good job. We have a lot of things coming down the pipe. And if I can ask one thing of anybody out there, if you have any questions or comments, give us a call. Come see us. I would rather talk about it rather than just throwing stuff out on social networking or the paper. Let's talk about it, because we do want to hear what you have to say. And I sincerely wish all you Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and drive safe this holiday season. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn? Alderman Schuman. Second, Alderman Rucker. Motion is adjourned. Thanks, folks. All right.
Question?